Clarence Thomas, born June 23, 1948, in the small community of Pinpoint, Georgia, is an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States and the second African-American to serve on the court after Thurgood Marshall. Raised in deep poverty during the segregated era of the American South, Thomas was the second of 3 children born to M.C. Thomas, a farm laborer, and Leola Williams, a domestic worker. His early life was marked by hardship. When he was 2, his father abandoned the family, and at age 7, a house fire left them homeless. Thomas and his younger brother were then taken in by their maternal grandfather, Myers Anderson, a strict but deeply influential figure who instilled in him discipline, self-reliance, and a strong work ethic. Growing up in Savannah, Georgia, Thomas attended a segregated Catholic school run by Irish nuns, where he excelled academically and developed an early sense of discipline and faith. After high school, Thomas entered Immaculate Conception Seminary in Missouri with the intention of becoming a Catholic priest, but he left before ordination after encountering racism within the seminary. He transferred to the College of the Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts, graduating in 1971 with a degree in English literature, and went on to Yale Law School, where he earned his Juris Doctor in 1974. Despite graduating from an elite institution, Thomas later expressed that his Yale degree did not shield him from racial prejudice in the job market. His legal career began as an Assistant Attorney General of Missouri under then-Attorney General John Danforth. He followed Danforth to Washington, D.C., where he worked as a legislative aide in the U.S. Senate, then entered the corporate sector as a lawyer for Monsanto Company. In 1981, Thomas joined the Reagan administration as Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights at the U.S. Department of Education, and in 1982, he became chairman of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC, a position he held for 8 years. At the EEOC, he focused on reducing bureaucratic inefficiency and emphasized individual responsibility over expansive federal intervention. In 1990, President George H.W. Bush appointed Thomas to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. Just over a year later, Bush nominated him to the U.S. Supreme Court to replace retiring Justice Thurgood Marshall. Thomas's confirmation process in 1991 was one of the most contentious in U.S. history, dominated by televised hearings in which Anita Hill, a former colleague, accused him of sexual harassment, a charge Thomas vehemently denied, famously calling the proceedings a high-tech lynching. He was confirmed by a narrow Senate vote of 52-48 and took his seat on October 23, 1991. On the court, Thomas has been one of its most consistently conservative voices, championing originalism, the interpretation of the Constitution according to its original meaning, and advocating for a limited role of the federal government. He often emphasizes the 10th Amendment and states' rights, opposes affirmative action, and supports broad Second Amendment protections. Thomas is also notable for his long-standing practice of rarely speaking during oral arguments, preferring to let written briefs and judicial opinions guide his decision-making. However, in recent years, he has become more active in questioning advocates. Over the decades, his opinions and dissents, often solitary, have influenced the court's jurisprudence and shaped legal debates, especially in areas such as gun rights, campaign finance, and executive power. Outside of his judicial work, Thomas is known for his deep interest in American history, his love for driving his RV around the country to meet everyday Americans, and his dedication to mentoring young law students and clerks. He married Virginia Ginny Lamp Thomas, a conservative activist and lawyer, in 1987, and the couple has faced both public praise and scrutiny for her political activities. Clarence Thomas's life story, from a poor, segregated community in coastal Georgia to one of the most powerful legal positions in the nation, remains one of the most remarkable personal journeys in modern American public life, marked by resilience, steadfast beliefs, and an unwavering commitment to his judicial philosophy.